Good evening and blessings, everybody out there. What's going on? It's your man, Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Look, just wanted to get on for today. Happy Friday, everybody out there, man. We in June, bro. It's June. Over half of 2025 is gone. And, man, that's just amazing to me because, again, it's almost like I was just reflecting with my wife the other day, like, man, time is moving. And, again, as they say, time waits for no one, and I'm starting to see it now. But I'm really, really grateful to still be in the land of the living just one more time, as the old folk would say. Well, again, coming to you today from our Covington, Tennessee office there. I know y'all don't notice anything new in my background, but again, I know all my Tennessee fans out there, they gonna see it. Oh yeah, all my Tennessee fans, they gonna see it. And just so y'all know. We just want y'all to know that's who we represent. But again, super excited to come here today. Listen, on yesterday, across the country, people were celebrating Juneteenth. Juneteenth was a time in history wherein it righted a wrong. And let's just be honest, a lot of times people don't like to talk about Juneteenth. They don't like to talk about things that have happened in America. And if I can just be honest, I get aggravated when people try to segregate history in America, talking about black history or white history or whatever the case may be. It's all American history because it all happened here. And so here's the thing. Yesterday, everybody was celebrating Juneteenth. And again, and not everybody, but a lot of people were celebrating Juneteenth, whether you were off work, whether you actually did something, whether you learned a little bit about it. I hope that's what you did. I hope you took the opportunity to take some time to educate yourself on what Juneteenth is. I'm going to breeze over it real quick because that's really not what I want to focus on. I don't really want to focus on Juneteenth because realistically, Juneteenth has already happened, right? I'm going to focus on after Juneteenth, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with the freedom that you have? So either way, let's get into it, right? So as we talk about Juneteenth, you have to understand what that backs into. So Juneteenth backs into the Emancipation Proclamation, which was signed by President Abraham Lincoln, and it became legal, I should say, January 1st of 1863. So that's what happened. However, it was still in Congress. It was still going through some legislation and still in some areas needed to be ratified. So what happened, it took over 2.5 years for this ratification to take place. And so there's a man by the name of Major General Gordon Granger. And he gave what is known as the Third General Order, where he basically told Texas, let these people go. Y'all better stop tripping. So again, the U.S. had to have military intervention to let these folk know that they were actually free after over 2.5 years. So that's what Juneteenth is all about. It's the fact that this country, who had fought to right the wrongs that were implemented because of slavery, even after the emancipation was released and the majority of the slaves were free, there were still people in Texas who didn't know. And that's what Juneteenth is all about. It celebrates their actual independence, you know. So with that being said, and I know a lot of people have emotional they feel one way or the other about it. And look, that is fine. You're definitely okay to feel how you want to feel. But there are a couple of things that I want to cover today because my mind, in my mind, I ask some questions, right? Because I'm very analytical. If you know me, I'm very analytical. So what I want to know is, what did those slaves who were free do with their freedom, right? What did the people who as a result of Juneteenth, what did they do with their freedom? Did they go and make themselves, well known? Did they just go and say, hey man, I just want a piece of land, I just want to ride off into the sunset? Those are the kind of things that I want to know. And that's why I really honor the elderly, and I wish, we still had more of that living legacy that was able to be taught. Because I want to know what they did. I want to know, what came of this camp and what came of that camp. So here's what I did. I started doing some research because one thing I know, we did see where some people because of being freed. And during the Reconstruction era, we did see where blacks started popping up and they started making money and things of this nature. Number one, Madam C.J. Walker. Come on, every lady that has that good hair. Come on, ladies. Every lady, yeah, with them perms or whatnot. Thank Madam C.J. Walker, right? And the way she even set it up was going door to door, basically selling it. Again, well, phenomenal. Again, in business. Again, these are the kind of things. This is what she did, even though she was not born into slavery. She was born after the Emancipation Proclamation and Juneteenth. She still took the opportunity, the fact, even though everything wasn't the way it wanted to be, she still made her name great. She still made her legacy great. Then we have Mr. Robert Reed Church Sr. And this one should have some special connotation to my folks in the Holly Springs in the Memphis area, because Mr. Church, now he actually fought in the Civil War. His mom was a slave. His dad was a captain, a white captain, but he was still born into slavery and actually fought in the Civil War. But he was actually known for being the first black millionaire in the Memphis area, Mr. Robert Reed Church. And what was so interesting about it was he founded Solvent Bank, and that's the first black-owned bank in the city of Memphis, which extended, watch this, credit to black folk, right, for them to buy homes and develop businesses, right? So again, he fought through slavery. So he was born a slave, lived through it, fought in the Civil War as a soldier, and then turn around and utilize entrepreneurship to further help the cause. We have Mr. O.W. Gurley. Most of y'all probably don't know who he is, but if you've heard of Black Wall Street, he's known as one of the founders of Black Wall Street, which was the Greenwood, I believe it is, community in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And what happened is black people moved there because I guess at that time, they wasn't playing that in Tulsa, right? And so they had their own little area there. And as a result of that, you could come there, you could move there, and if you had a business, you could do very well for yourself. So again, Mr. O.W. Gurley, again, one who was not born into slavery, but as a result of the freedom that was given, even though it wasn't perfect, he actually still created the Black Wall Street. Last one I'll talk about, and this brother here, for all my people in New York, you know what I'm saying, son? He actually was a Haitian immigrant, Mr. Jeremiah G. Hamilton. And they sometimes refer to him as Jerry Hamilton. But what happened is he was a Wall Street broker in New York, and he was known as the only black millionaire in New York. Haitian born, came over here running from the law, came over here and made his money, started some startup money. And they say his business dealing was a little kind of mob-esque, but again, still made money to develop startup capital, got out there and started brokering in Wall Street, and was known as the only black millionaire in Wall Street during that time period. Now, here we go. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying this to say that these are people that, as a result of what happened, as a result of the Civil War, as well as Juneteenth, these people actually were able to go on and do great things. So here's two more people that I'm going to talk to you about, because I had to do a lot of digging for this, folks. So I need y'all to hear these people. And I know during Black History Month, we only like to talk about Rosa Parks and them and Booker T. Washington. Again, I don't take nothing from those great people, but again, there are more. And so I want to talk a little bit about Miss Bridget Biddy Mason, who actually was a former enslaved woman that actually moved to LA and actually started being a real estate entrepreneur. Exactly right. She saved her money at working as a midwife and a nurse, and then she started investing in land in the LA area. So in Los Angeles, she started making money. Again, I think that's phenomenal. This is a lady who was directly impacted by Juneteenth, meaning the emancipation of the slaves. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about Mr. Robert Smalls. And again, come on, South Carolina, stand up. Robert Smalls is If I had to say in my mind now, if there's anybody who I would have wanted to be around, if I could go back in history at one point in time, one of the times I want to go to is to see Mr. Robert Smalls. I don't know if y'all know his story, but his story is he was born into slavery, and he ended up fighting in the Civil War. But this brother went and did some stuff on some what's that movie? Mission Impossible type stuff. He went and stole, Fast and Furious. He went and stole a Confederate transport ship, and then he drove it over to his allies. Again, now he's a slave, but he escaped slavery by doing the impossible. He went above and beyond and stole that Confederate transport ship, drove it down, and gave it to the Union. And again, that kind of helped swing the tide of the war. Now, here's another thing about this brother. After the Civil War, he ran for office. And guess what? He was elected. He was elected to the legislature there in South Carolina as a Republican. And as a result of that, he also helped found the South Carolina Republican Party, or the Republican Party of South Carolina. He's authored many things. One of the things that he championed was state schools, the first compulsory school. So either way, he's done some amazing things. So I know you're like, Rod, why are we going down this history? Why are we going down all this history? Why are you talking about all this? As always, there's a method to my madness, right? And the method to my madness is this is what people did in times when they could have been killed for stepping out, for operating. And I put myself in the mindset to say, Lord, I hope that I have that same courage. I hope that if times ever got to a place where I actually had to fight for my independence, I hope I could be like a Robert Smalls. Oh my God, I hope I could be like a Robert Reed Church, who actually got injured even though he was fighting, but still kept on going. I just hope I could be like one of those people. But here we go again. So now, understanding that, let's talk about us today. I know we had Juneteenth. I know people was out there marching and everything, and parades and barbecuing and all that there. And again, I'm all for all that, right? If you know me, you know I love to have a good time. But here's the question. The question is, what are you doing with your freedom? Will somebody look up your name and say, I really want to know what that person did? What impact will you have made on this thing we call Earth? When you close your eyes to this world, what would it be? Is it just going to be twerking videos? Is it just going to be you made the best peach cobbler? What are you going to do to make sure that generations, that your last name, what are you doing with your freedom to make sure that your last name is left off in a better way? That's the question. See, it's easy for us to say, oh, yeah, Juneteenth, and that was an atrocity. And it was. It was insidious. It was evil. It was demonic. It was all that. However, what are we doing with the freedom that we have right now? I see so many people so consumed by social media, by trying to fit in, by going and entertaining themselves. They're going on trips every time you turn around. And look, all those things are fine and they have their place. But if that's what you want to do for your freedom, with your freedom, by all means, go ahead. But my question is, what are you passing on to the next generation? Right? So, of course, I want to make sure that you understand every name that I called left a financial legacy for their family. Not only in insurance, but they actually built businesses. And so with that being said, what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit here is how you can build generational wealth, right? That's what I want to talk about. What I hope at the end of this chat, I hope that you will be encouraged to build generational wealth. When the question is asked of you, of your grandchildren, of your great-grandchildren, what did you do with your freedom? Next year, when you're celebrating Juneteenth, will you be able to look and say, you know what, I did something with my freedom besides just go and party and carry on? Right? So let's talk about it. So what are ways to build generational wealth? The very first way is about education, right? Very first, financial literacy. I tell my clients this all the time. If you don't know how to make money work for you, you'll forever chase a dollar and you'll never catch it, right? You'll try to work all this overtime, but again, you'll never realize that most of that overtime is getting paid in taxes. Again, these are simple concepts that people don't know that we're educating people on. Right? This is how we're educating people. So the very first one, you got to understand financial concepts. School don't teach you all this, right? So what happens is, you've got to get to a place where you start learning these things. Now, again, I'm not anti-school. I'm mastered up, right? So don't take it like you just talking to school because they ain't got. I'm mastered up. That's what that thing behind my last name is. Those initials. I paid for them joints. But what I want you to understand is you have got to get financial literacy. You have got to get financially literate so you know how money works, right? So that's the very first thing. And how do you do that? You don't do it by hanging with broke folk. Come on now. Let's just be real. I'm not going to ask somebody who don't know how to cook how to make a meal. That don't make sense. They may be able to tell me theory, but they ain't going to taste good at all. And I don't want that. So again, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're networking with people and that you're getting mentorship. Now, if that means going and get you a financial planner, all well and good. But guess what? That's what Rod Hickman's Generational Wealth Builder, that's what our network of entrepreneurs are here to do. We're here to help you with that, right? So that's number one. Number two, let's talk a little bit about making sure that you are preparing for the long haul. What kind of asset do you have that's going to provide you long-term growth? Right? What I tell people, I know a lot of people like real estate. I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm finna flip houses and everything else. Hey, man, if you do that, wonderful. Because yes, it definitely can generate a lot of money. But guess what? It's not what you think. You have to put work into it. There's a reason why the people that do it are making the kind of money that they're doing, right? Because they know what needs to be done. So again, real estate is one. You can get into the market. You can get into crypto, whatever you want to do, but find something that's going to build you long-term growth. My favorite vehicle of choice, entrepreneurship. Build a business. My wife and I are blessed. Within our network, within our organization, we made over $100,000 in a year, right? So in our part-time, and that's what I need you to understand. We do this part-time. While my wife does it, she still has a whole active life where she helped with the church, things of that nature, right? So again, that's what I want you to understand. That's what we were able to accomplish. And guess what? Next year, we're going to go. Every year, we've grown higher and higher and higher. Y'all have seen it. Again, we have 4 offices now. 2 of those are directly with our name on the lease. Right? So we have 4 offices where we have 2 other people open offices. And right now we have 2 more down in Central and Western Florida and the Treasure Coast that'll be popping up in the next 6 to 9 months. I'm just saying. That's what we've done. And the way we're doing that is we still have our day. I still have my day job, but I take what Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn said, he said, you use your wages to pay your bills, but you use your profits to fund your future. And that's what we're doing. So that's some of the things that we're doing. But you've got to have something that's going to grow your income, right? You can't work your way to financial independence. You will not, unless I think it's only one guy I know, and I can't think of his name right now, but he's probably the most famous entrepreneur that works for Microsoft. But he's been there for so long. So either way, but my point being, you have got to have a vehicle that's going to help you grow your money. And if you don't, then you're going to find out, that your life is not going to be as fulfilled as it could be. You'll find yourself settling for trinkets like, well, I'll go on a cruise or I'll go on a trip or I'll take a 3-day weekend, whatever case may be, right? And again, nothing wrong with those things. But again, we're talking about what are you doing with your freedom? Right? What are you doing with your freedom? Last but not least, because I got to get out of here, let's talk about estate planning. What are you leaving? What plan, what strategy do you have to transfer wealth to the next generation? Right? The amount of people that don't understand that all a will really does is make sure your creditors get their money first is astounding to me. People don't understand that if you owe somebody and you have a will, basically all that means is that stuff gonna have to get liquidated to settle those debts, and then your family deals with what's left. That's how that works. But this is why you should look into getting a trust, right? Because if that's properly structured, the debt dies with the individual. So the family is still able to keep the houses, keep the cars, keep the businesses, all those things that are under the trust, right? Again, very simple, right? Again, very simple. But this goes back to education. Who are you networking with? Who are you around that can actually tell you that? Right? Or you just like, well, it's gonna be all right. Or and guess what? And again, I know people ain't gonna like this, and that's okay. But when you basically say, they'll figure it out. You literally just told your generations that you don't care about your legacy. That's literally what you said. You got to make sure you're doing your tax planning, right? How many people's houses, big mama them houses are taken because somebody didn't pay the taxes, right? You got to pay taxes, right? There are ways where you can minimize it, but you've got to get in the know about that. You've got to learn how to do that, because if you don't learn how to do that, then you can end up losing the house that big mama them had. You can end up losing the land that was for the family. So you got to make sure you do that. You got to make sure that you're planning for the future, right? You can't just plan for today. And last but not least, folks, you got to have some life insurance. Right. And I'm talking about more than $25, $50, or $100,000. The easiest way for me to say it is like this. If people depend on you and you don't have a home, the minimum amount of life insurance you need is $500,000. Period. That's the minimum. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, guess what? You got debts. Those debts got to be paid. Think about it. If you got a car, truck, whatever the case may be, that's got to be paid for, or they're going to come repossess that. Where your family's staying at, right? What about their grieving time? We ain't even thought about that. Are your children going to college? Who's going to pay for that, right? There are a litany of things that people don't think about with respect to life insurance. They just see life insurance as a bill. But what you don't realize, life insurance is what I call the greatest love letter from the great beyond. Because it says to your families, look at him. These were our dreams. These were our goals. This is where we wanted to go. I may not be able to make it there with you, but go ahead on anyhow. You're able to now go and pay for a house, cash money, and establish your forever home, whatever your last name is. They're able to go and open a business in your name. They're able to start a scholarship fund. They're able to do all these things, all because you left behind a sizable life insurance policy. That's what happens. That's what happens. So with that being said, that's my time for today. I actually got a hard stop. I want y'all to actually ask yourself, what am I doing with my freedoms? It's after Juneteenth today. We barbecued and everything and all that there yesterday. But now the question becomes, what are you doing with the freedoms that you have? Are you taking advantage of the freedoms? Are you taking notes from Madam C.J. Walker, Robert Reed Church Sr., O.W. Gurley, Biddy Mason, Robert Smalls? Are you taking a page from them and saying, you know what? I'm in this country. Everything may not go the way I want it to go, but you know what? I have enough gumption to fight through it. Are you? That's what my wife and I have done. My wife and I made a decision, best decision of our life. Best decision of our life. Very best decision. Apart from accepting Christ, best decision of our life. Because we have changed and we now know what we're doing with our freedom. Our freedom is generating more freedom. That's what it's doing. Our freedom is giving us freedom to truly experience freedom and to pass freedom along. That's what it's doing. And that's what I'm most excited about. Well, y'all, that's my time. Be on the listen. Be on the lookout. We do have some amazing news coming. Going to definitely share that with y'all in a little bit once we get some more logistics around it. So super excited about that. And again, thankful for all of you all that continue to watch and support me. Listen, as I often tell you all the time, knowledge is not power until it's applied. You can have an 18-wheeler truck that's gassed up and ready to go, but it is not until you actually apply the clutch and put it in gear that truck is going to go forward. And that's the same thing with this information that I just shared on today. So I hope and pray that you'll take this information, that you'll actually put it in gear and let it bless your life. Well, until we meet again, I'm Rod Hickman of Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye, bye-bye, and bye-bye.